Welcome back, bench warmers. Happy New Year, everyone.
When one door opens, another closes. As we ring in the new year, we also celebrate the end of the blueprint.
As the series ends, the start of a new topic of conversation arises. Even though it's over, there's still a story to tell and share with you all.
It's story time. I'm Corey, happy it's over.
I'm Brendan, proud fantasy football coach.
I'm Nando, first-time fantasy player at heart, and this is our view from the bench.
Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see or hear, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Come on, smash it for us. It's free. It's free for you. It's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
Gentlemen, well, welcome to my house.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time that Nando and Corey are meeting in person.
It is a fact.
I've known both of them for years. Obviously, we've done 16 episodes now of the Blueprint, so they've met online, obviously, but this is their first meeting in person. Taller than you might think, huh?
No, not at all. Everyone's taller than me. So
that's a good point. Good point. Well, thank you all for coming. But we thought we'd wrap up the Blueprint episode, or series, I guess you would say, with an in-person one, especially in the ringing in the New Year and finishing Christmas and stuff last week. So being with friends and family is kind of what it's all about. So we thought we'd do an in-person one. Thank you guys for coming.
Absolutely.
Of course. Thank you for the invite.
Well, it didn't really end as we had hoped, Nando. What happened, man? What we're going to start with is kind of breaking down how the playoffs played out. We know that we didn't record or have an episode, but, during Christmas and New Year, all three of us trying to get time together is hectic as heck. You actually had your sister come to town, right?
Yeah, she was from Ohio for a week, so I was busy with family hanging out, so it was kind of hard, but, glad we're here, and now we can talk about how the season all went down.
Your brother came to town, too, actually.
He did come into town, and I watched him beat the rest of the players.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So it kind of take us quickly through, I know it's 2 rounds technically, but take us through 2 rounds of what happened in the fantasy playoffs this year.
So the first game of the playoffs, it was really tough. I put the best players I could in.
That was the 1v4, right? We're 4 versus, okay.
So,
best player in the league, guys. Come on.
Best player in the league going against the bottom player of the contesting finals.
Of the playoffs. There's only 4. That's not bottom player.
And I got demolished.
Yeah.
172 points. That was the league high this year.
Oh my gosh, really?
I think the highest score we had before that was 158.
Wow.
So it's a ginormous jump.
The highest score we had was 145 twice.
Okay, so if they scored 172, how little did we score?
We scored 115 points.
Okay.
115 is respectable, but 172 is a little impossible to beat.
Yeah.
Not when I've seen pictures of teams online. Oh, my buddy barely lost this game. Some of those games are 300 and something, but our rules don't play to that. Most of the time, about 115 to 125 should get you a win.
Not this week for us.
172 is not it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that puts us into the third place matchup.
Yes.
I think we did come in second there.
And the next game, the last game that we played, even though it was fighting for third, we definitely lost again. That week I had basically, you guys were not ghost, but MIA for a little bit.
Yes.
And I had a lot of thoughts in my head thinking, hey, Wednesday game, about to be, I think it was a Christmas game.
Yep,
That was Christmas Day game. I was like, these players want to, show something. They're getting paid to play.
True.
So I thought, hey, Kansas City players might be doing good.
And so who did we play?
I played Hollywood Brown and Kareem Hunt, a prior we had, because he's been doing better than Pacheco in targets.
He actually did better Pacheco than in that game still. Apparently not good enough for us, but better than Pacheco.
We struggled.
Yes. Saw a lot of single digits players that I played that week. Scored, I think, less than 80 points.
Oh, yeah, that's never going to win you a game.
Yeah. All right, well, rightfully so. I guess we end up in fourth based on those numbers. But again, in the first matchup against the top team, if we allow 172, what are we supposed to do?
It is what it is. There's not. That's a very unique amount of players that we'd have to pull from other teams in order to make a team that is 172 points.
Especially those 172 being 4 of them being our players.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to that for sure. So we end in fourth, but I think that's exactly how it went. You said it was 1, 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yes, the same way the league standing stayed before the playoffs, it was how it ended in the playoffs. So we had 1, 2, 3, and 4. My brother being at top, and it's the same way it ended.
All right.
Well, you know what? Honestly, dude, I think I told you before we even got into the playoffs, and I think you agreed. getting into the playoffs in a four team
Playoff, yeah.
playoff from a 10-team league is pretty impressive because most times it's 6. So most of the times it's more than half the league that makes it. And this time, you were able to make it in the top 4. So, granted, you didn't.
We barely
up.
snuck in by points and everything with all
True.
4 teams having the same record. So even then, at least we didn't lose to a team that was 6 games ahead of us or below us in the stand. Like, we were all the same thing. We just had the bad week and didn't have the points.
A couple bad weeks, unfortunately, in a row. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So luckily it was close. I had fun. It was fun to kind of be involved but not have to worry about it as much.
That is exactly the best thing. I don't have any access to the stuff. I can't look at it when I'm at work. I can't do anything. I only get a text from Nando at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to update before the afternoon games.
So
and
what's
in the
going
evening,
on? Yep.
That's literally the perfect amount. It was just enough that I was involved, but not enough that I have to do anything and really stress about it.
Honestly, fantastic way to put it. Couldn't agree more. I know it was obviously a lot more involved for you. If you had to give me a sentence or so about your first fantasy football year, give it.
I think the best way to describe it is it's just a lot, but with a lot of help. I think I wouldn't have made the same choices in most ways. I would have just looked for the big numbers and said, oh, that one, that one, that one. And the same way my sister thought that she could be playing in the league, and we told her no. I think the same thing would have applied where I wouldn't have made the smart decisions based off of like knowledge that I couldn't have had. I would have known the league rivals because I pay attention to football, but I don't pay enough attention.
Yeah, he started to more a lot this year.
You got better. There was a couple weeks at the end there was, I don't know what week it was, you were sick somewhere where I was working like crazy, and he's like, I just did everything and we won. I'm like, cool, keep going. Yeah. you don't need us anymore almost at that point.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, there was a time where we were sitting down and I sat with him towards the beginning of the season. He's like, I just want to like learn. So there's all these other positions, but all I know are these like 4. There's a bunch of other people running around. What the heck are they? So we sat there for like 30 minutes and we just kind of went over what their short name is, like DT or a CB for, defensive tackle or cornerback, whatever. Just trying to show him like what other pieces of football there is. Soaking it in. So he's starting to see different patterns. He's starting to see how to do the research. I think that was probably the best thing that we could probably teach is like how to do the research. History is going to be hard to just like transfer knowledge to you, but what to look for, how to look for it, how to look for trends, how to look for who's hurt, who's the backup, give me the depth chart of who's next. I think that was probably the most helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
So, well, should we get to
gotta explain the trade a little bit?
Story
right?
time.
We've been kind of leaving it all year and kind of leaving you guys wondering what we're talking about, but here's the final time to tell you the whole story.
Exactly. We're gonna start actually at the beginning of the season in the preseason. Nando, give me the little bit of the story. You guys might have heard bits and pieces of this or a quick story towards the beginning of the blueprint. For those of you who have been watching, thank you for sticking with us, by the way. But Nando, give us like a little bit more of the story about what happened on draft night, whatever.
Draft night, I was invited to go out to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I wasn't a big fan of fantasy football at the time. I didn't think it was anything important. I was like, I really don't want to go. He's like, I'll pay for your food. He got me there. The commissioner got me there. I was like, I really, really want some food, and I don't want to go to some other place to eat. So I headed over. Had about 30 minutes to get there. Not even time to really check up on my dogs or anything. Just had to go straight there. And I got there, met some new people. It was an interesting place to be. Had some people on the phone that were calling in because they couldn't make it to the actual draft day. So I had to fill in for someone who couldn't make it. And then as well as we had people that even couldn't make it just on the phone calling. Then the picking started. Normal draft, one row goes and down other
Snake,
way.
yep.
Snake draft, okay.
Mm-hmm. And I had picked my first player. I think it was Devontae.
Kyron.
Kyron Williams was my first draft, and then my second was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Someone in prior that was on the phone had wanted AJ. No, he wanted AJ Brown, and I wanted AJ Brown at first. Because that's the first pick I saw. I was reading the chart. He gave me a nice paper that gave me a lot of information about top 25. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'll work with this, not entirely working on it. And I used that. And initially I did choose A.J. Brown because he was who was available still. And then someone said, no, I wanted A.J. Brown. And then that snake, instead of just switching his A.J. Brown because we misheard it, we went all the way back, reversed all the players, and then we got someone else. We had to pick new people. and someone took Ross St. Brown and AJ Brown both from me.
Oh,
I didn't have the
So you didn't get a chance to either of them. You had one of them.
once the pick is in and it's on the board, it should be on the board and we move on. We couldn't be going backwards because, like, this is exactly why it gives other people, oh, I forgot about that guy. Or I didn't
that guy's
think
going to
about
be
that
good.
guy. Yeah.
Why is everybody picking him up there?
Yeah.
Never mind. Can we go back so I can get him?
Yeah, no. Once the pick is in, it's on the board. If you don't notice in the moment that it's the wrong name or the wrong person, but with the same last name, that's on you, man. Like, we keep moving and move on. Like,
And even then, I felt like, okay, he made his mistake with his player. Why did they get to choose all their new players?
yeah.
Exactly.
If anything, let that guy maybe go back and pick.
It would have been the
but-
same thing.
Yeah.
Like just switch players.
Right. If he wants AJ, give me Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay with that. And then just bam, right after that, I was like, okay, I can't even get the players I wanted. And then it confused all my thinking for the next players. I'm like, okay, trying to pick a QB now. Trying to pick who's next.
You picked Devontae Adams next.
Yeah, I did pick Devontae Adams.
You know what? To be honest with you, we gave
By week
Devontae
12, he was great.
We gave Devontae shit all year. We gave Devontae shit all year, but by week, to your point, towards the end of the season, he carried us. In a couple games, he was the person, like that 138-point game,
Yeah.
200 yards,
And it was all in the
after
second
halftime.
half. Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it panned out in the end, but having Amon-Ra all year would have been pretty freaking nice.
Yes.
Because that Lions offense was, I think, the number one scoring offense in the league. So having the number one wide receiver for the number one scoring offense is pretty beneficial, I think.
Would have
most
solved
times.
our wide receiver issue we had all
Correct.
damn season that we were trying
Correct.
to solve.
So you started off slighted, and you said the person that had chosen whoever, either AJ or Amon-Ra, on the second snake around was the commissioner. Took it right before you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that just is unfortunate news. So it started off even before the league started
yeah.
being a little bit lopsided. But wait, there's more. So we're sitting there. I'll tell a little bit of it, and then I want you to kind of finish
for
it.
sure.
We're sitting there around the blueprint is what we're in. We're in Discord, just kind of talking. Nando is always sharing screens, so we're looking at players that are available, lineups that we're going to do, doing research. Again, trying to teach him exactly what we're looking for and how to look for it. And as he's seeing, I see in the transactions on the side of the thing that there's been a trade in the league. And I was like, Nando, did you get a notification for the trade? Because most times people ask about notifications for trades, right?
In every league I've ever been in, you have a league-wide vote on every trade that happens between any teams. Like, you get an email with a notification. You have 24 hours to vote yes or no on this trade. If it gets more votes yes than no, then it goes through, and vice versa. But there was nothing. There was no email. There was no notification.
I made sure you to go check. Like, check your emails. Like, did you get some? You're like, no, I check all the stuff.
Nothing. No, you're fine. But nothing. And we had no idea it happened until we were checking the transactions because we were the team that was constantly making moves and looking for things. And we kind of stumbled upon this information that we otherwise would have never have found.
Exactly. In fact, now that you say that, we're in transactions because we're wondering who's been dropped that we can maybe go pick up recently. You know, that's kind of what we're looking for. Who's made the mistake of somebody we think's now going to pop off? And then we saw the trade. And the trade, as we've discussed before in a previous episode, I don't remember which one it is, but we'll put it in the description, the link for us, so you can go see where we talk about the trade. I'll give it to you briefly. The commissioner here, who had the person, you know, that he technically picked, that Nando technically picked, in the draft, decided that a trade should be done where he sends Dalton Kincaid to another team who's struggling. This guy is struggling. And he's going to get, who was it? Drake London and DJ Moore. Not Drake London or DJ Moore for Dalton Kincaid. No, that's not what I said.
Both of them.
Drake London and DJ Moore for Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, Dalton Kincaid, like the 14th best tight end in the league, as opposed to like 2 number 1 wide receivers for pass-heavy offenses. Now, granted, towards the end of the season, DJ Moore didn't pan out as well, but even a straight trade of Dalton Kincaid for Drake London
Still not.
is lopsided, especially with the way Drake London produced this year. So that was kind of sparked our interest. So we started doing a little bit of digging. I had Nando go through the settings of the league because I'm trying to figure out why the heck we weren't notified. As Corey said, I've never played in the league. And you had said there should be 2 rules about it, right?
Either everyone votes or there's no voting at all. There's nobody that has any say. If everybody wants to do some lopsided ass trade, then let them do whatever they want. But either let it ride or everybody votes. Nothing in between.
And we had neither. We actually had to go have Nando start digging through the settings where he had found that the way that the trade rules work were commissioner approved. So we were like, wow. So as long as he says it's a good trade, it's going to go through. We were like, okay, which is somewhat why we traded Zay Flowers for Chuba Hubbard. Well, we got Zay for Chuba giving it up because we were like, does he just let trades go through or does he like stop certain trades from going through? He let it go through. He let it go through. But I thought that one-sided trade was the start of something kind of mischievous,
Yeah, very, very different, very strange. I wouldn't say collusion because no one else is doing it. It's a one-person operation at that point, so I don't know what the word would be for that. But, yeah, just, again, very strange, very weird, not what your normal league kind of does. And the fact that it's all, like, family members possibly, too, or a couple in there. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah, like, why are we just doing kind of shady stuff? Again, it's nothing illegal, but it is for money. Like, people, it's not like we're all just playing for fun. People have money on the line. Luckily, not me.
Yeah, it's Nando's team.
Luckily, not me.
Luckily, I don't have any money on the line. But people do have money on the line in this league. I mean, while it is for fun, it's still, like you said, your friends and family. Like, what the heck? Why are we being weird about stuff? So I just didn't like the way that trade was. And I want you to kind of describe a little bit of this next trade. When we were kind of also sitting around just the bonfire, the blueprint bonfire on Discord, looking through all of the possible players, we were thinking, you know what? I had a crazy idea the other night. I think we should go and try to get Christian McCaffrey. So Nando tried to put together a bunch of trades. Nando, you tried to put together a bunch of trades. I forgot which one you settled on. And we waited. Well, what'd you put together?
I did Kyron Williams and Devontae Adams. And at the time, Devontae wasn't showing as much, but he still was giving the points, at least 8 to 12.
He had already been traded to the Jets, so there was no weird turmoil. There was like he's starting to try to make that connection with Aaron. Sorry to cut you off.
And I tried trading those for Christian McCaffrey, and I was waiting. And there was 3 people making offers on the line. I put a really strong one. Kyron Williams at the time was scoring at least 20 points, 18 points those weeks. Like, solid.
It's a number 1 wide receiver.
More than McCaffrey because he's been in the IR for the past 12 weeks at the time.
Point, yeah.
Yep.
And it was like, why not take the chance? If his projection was 18 points coming out of that, why not?
Yeah. Because he is the number 1 wide receiver, and what he did last year in San Francisco for that team is insane. I mean, he was doing things that were MVP level, basically. He was in the conversation like that. Kind of like Saquon is this year. I wish he would win it, man. I wish he would go for that record.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to.
No, he's not.
Dang. So that was where we were kind of at. But when you put in the trade, what happened?
Well, there's 2 things that have to happen. One, you wait. So I think they're able to see at the time other people's trades, I think I saw one offer for someone else, but I think it was pending or going through.
Okay.
And you have to wait, for this little thing to be reviewed, and you'll get a little stamp on the review that says that basically means it's been reviewed by a commissioner, that the trade has either been approved or disapproved. That all those trades, if there was 5 trades, if there was just 2, if there was just the one, has to wait to be approved. Whether it's the commissioner's trade or not, it can go through by his choice.
Yep.
Which is not how it should be at all. The commissioner should have no say in their own trades and everybody else's if nobody else has a say or a vote. So,
exactly.
Kind of shady.
You are not an almighty person. That's not how it works. Let's go for fairness. So your trade was denied.
Yes.
It wasn't even really presented, I don't believe, to the person you gave it to. But your trade was denied, and then the same commissioner got McCaffrey. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So
very, very collusion-y.
just keeps going. It's like, dude, what the heck is going on? Now, granted, in hindsight, getting McCaffrey would not have been very beneficial to us, especially when Devontae saving our ass.
Yeah, for real.
Plenty of times. But it just started rubbing us the wrong way. And at that point, I think it was week 11.
Yes.
Week 11, yes.
Week 10, week 11. That's when we decided, you know what? The trade deadline is coming up. I think it was that week. In a couple days. We were in 8th place. We were just middling down there. Only the top 4 make it. We had absolutely no thought that we were going to make the playoffs.
No way, no, and how. Just because, especially with the wide receiver issue we had all season dealing with and trying to figure out, we just didn't think we were going to be able to climb that high in that short amount of time, be able to get into the playoffs.
And we shouldn't have, to be honest.
No, we shouldn't have. So we decided we're going to unload and help maybe somebody else get into the playoffs and possibly win. So at least we'll feel better about who wins, because we didn't want the commissioner to somehow sneak their way up to the top and get a title when they already did enough helping of themselves.
Exactly. And they had been starting to climb. They had started off really poorly that season. And after the trades, had been playing players who were, averaging 20 points a game. So he started climbing the ranks fairly quickly, and had surpassed us actually as well. So we were just like, dang,
Yeah.
because he was below us most of the season, and once surpassed us, I was like, dude, this is starting to look like there's just no shot. No matter what we try to do to try to fix our team, something gets changed or overruled or better or sneaky. So we decided to unload, and we called up his brother. He started lining up who you want. That's when that gigantic 4-person trade where we got rid of Burrow, who came to kick our ass in that 170-point whooping.
Yeah.
We gave up Kywan Williams, who I also believe
I think it was like 18 points that day, too.
kicked our ass in
Rams.
the ass whooping. Yeah. Now, Chris Boswell didn't do too bad, or too good, I guess you would say.
And Aubrey was okay for us.
And Aubrey was decent. So that was, I wouldn't say a wash, but,
He was my favorite.
it was a lot closer.
He was my
It was
favorite.
your favorite.
Yeah, it was your favorite player.
And then Chubba Hubbard also came and kicked our
30
ass.
points.
Yes.
30 points.
But ultimately, who we wanted to win won. So it kind of, in a weird way, even though it could have been us if we would have kept a couple of those guys in the ultimate, but we got what we wanted. We got who we wanted to win, and it all worked out kind of the way we expected, I guess.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I had truly hoped that the 4-person trade that we wanted or that we sent would get declined. I wanted it to be 2 reasons to get declined. One, I wasn't sold on selling. We weren't selling per se. We were going to try each week. We were still going to be on the waiver wire, but we were kind of selling a little bit to make sure that somebody got to choose the cream of the crop players for their fantasy lineup, so that way they could make sure they're winning basically every week.
Exactly.
And it, like you just said, basically it had paid off in the long run. Mm-hmm. But I kind of was hoping it would get declined so that we can keep them, but also that way we can kind of prove like, oh, okay, so only your trades get to go through.
Yeah.
Not these kind of trades. Because it was a little bit more lopsided. I mean, we were giving up.
I'd say slightly lopsided.
Kicker was a
them.
wash.
Yeah. But like I said, for them, they got a little bit better of the deal than we did, but I wouldn't say it was like 75-25.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
60-40.
65.
I would agree that
65-35.
I think the biggest thing there was the QB, the biggest difference. Giving Chuba back wasn't the biggest issue. Dobbins, we couldn't have told.
That was an injury we couldn't have
known,
seen.
seen that. It helped him a lot more. Having Dobbins in the IR sucked. But it was.
But again,
because we thought Gus Edwards was really going to do it, and he got all of like 6 points a week.
And then the one game we're like, oh, he's not going to do anything. Don't play him. He pops off 19 points out of nowhere. I'm just like,
it's fantasy
damn.
football for you guys.
Yep,
That's how
that's
it is.
exactly fantasy football. That's literally it. So, but that's the story, and we're sticking to it. I mean, shoot, we'll offer your side of the story if you'd like to come on. For sure.
They won't even take us up on that.
I'm not
Can't
even
say the names.
I'm not. Yeah, right. I'm not even opposed to making sure that everybody has a voice, because we ain't trying to be sly about anything. We're just telling it how it is. This is the story as we saw it. We were in 8th. We decided to unload because we had seen too much shady stuff.
But somehow we got hot and we ended up 4th and we got the playoffs, but we finished 4th overall when it's all said and done. So we got in there. And like you said, Fernando's first year to get in the playoffs as a 4-team bracket out of 10 is pretty awesome. So
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
That pretty much wraps it up. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. We know this is actually our first series, I guess I would say, at Our View from the Bench. So thank you for being a part of it. It was cool because it was new, something that we had never done before. Mm-hmm. And this kid just kind of went with the flow on everything. Whatever we wanted to do, any sort of weird things that he needed to do. I don't know if you've seen the Halloween episode, but go watch it.
it's pretty good.
Go watch it because it's something else. But this kid put on a great show. I appreciate your time that you did because you didn't have to do any of this. Obviously, we're poor. I'm not paying the guy to do it. So appreciate the time. Honestly, I think you did a great job. I hope you learned a lot. But yeah, I mean, anything you want to?
No, I couldn't agree more. way past what I expected going into this, and like didn't know if it would even last more than a couple weeks or if he'd get bored or annoyed of us having to like get
That's
on
kind
and
of what I was
record every
thinking.
week.
This is stupid. I don't want to do it
So
anymore.
yeah, but yeah, just appreciate you doing it, and then we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody for sticking with us, too. Appreciate all you for stopping by and seeing things from our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
Love and positivity.
Hey, to the blueprint.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.